Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Digital Accomplice video podcast. Today, we're joined by Maddy Osman. And Maddy, welcome to the show. I like
Thanks so
to
much for
start
having
out
me.
with a first question is, what is a recent content marketing success that you've enjoyed?
Nice. So we recently worked as an agency on a big rewrite project for a client highly associated with the words inbound marketing. And basically, for them, we rewrote 60 articles that had a declining SEO performance and brought them back up to the top search results. The early results are looking really good. They've just started publishing within the past month or two, and it was really interesting because we were charged with rewriting in terms of the principles of EEAT and infusing an expert perspective into them. And so what I think I learned from this project is that's the future of search, at least for now, is making sure to weave in expertise and uniqueness, especially in light of everything that's happening with AI content.
Exactly. So that's a good one. Number one is good. So what would be a biggest marketing challenge that you're facing right now, and what are you doing about it?
Oh, and another very interesting question relates a lot to the first question I answered. I would say just the proliferation of AI has been a large challenge for, I guess, the traditional structure of these content teams. And just trying to educate people about what are the best ways that you can use AI, but also what are the limitations of it, because I feel like people are testing it out as they should, but I also think that people are maybe testing AI, but also totally doing away with the old way of doing things. And to me, that seems like a misstep. It's kind of jumping too far ahead before you've proven the effectiveness. And ultimately, does AI content get people to buy things? Does it get them to take those next steps? I don't know if anybody's done a really good test of that yet, and I think that that's kind of what's missing. So again, I guess what I'm doing about it is doing my own tests. I think that's important to understand kind of what's going on from the perspective of an actual user and not somebody looking in from the outside. I am an AI optimist. I think that there are a lot of great ways that you could use it. But again, in terms of talking about the limitations, I think a big one that comes to mind is AI plagiarism? And in my opinion, if it's riffing off human ideas without giving proper attribution and without maybe getting proper use case rights, then I think that it is plagiarism. And beyond that, it's confidently incorrect a lot of the time. We have plenty of examples of that. And so I think that what I'm trying to do about it is educating people about the impact it has on brand reputation if you rely on AI content without a great process for what you do after you generate it.
Very good insights there. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
So, other than the video that we're doing right now together, how else might you be using video now? And how would you like to be using video?
Sure. One way that I've been testing out this year is using video as part of live streaming. And so making plans to live stream right now, I do it every 2 weeks. And I either have a topic kind of like what we're talking about, things happening with AI and content, or some other aspect of content marketing. Or what I do is a live content UX audit of brands that I admire, that I think are doing really great things with content, but just giving them different things to think about in terms of the full experience of how they're presenting that content, the formatting, the word choice, etc. So that's something that I am doing that I really like. I think it would be cool to explore more ways to use video with clients. Like, for example, right now, we have a designer on staff who does these really awesome whiteboard animation videos. And so that's one capability we have. But I do think that there are greater needs for clients in video and content, especially as this content landscape kind of evolves with AI. I think that AI could probably help create some cool videos, but it would never replace humans going and storytelling and capturing raw footage and putting those thoughts together. So I think end of 2024 going into 2025 is like the resurgence of video. I definitely see that.
Excellent. So we touched on this a little bit, but these are all going to be sort of individual videos one day. So let's kind of just talk about this discreetly.
Sure.
How are you using AI now, and what's working and what's not?
Totally. So the ways that I see AI benefiting my workflow from what I've tested out is, first of all, I think that AI that's trained on your own body of work is like an excellent use case. I don't think it's the be all end all. It's not going to solve all your problems. And in fact, there was a client that we worked with recently who, unbeknownst to me, gave us the output of like a chat GPT prompt and, session. um, what's interesting is that they wanted us to edit it to be more human, but we didn't know that it was coming from Chat GPT and found ourselves really struggling to kind of like get exactly what they wanted because they had been not sharing like all the details about where it came from. And so when we dug in further and found out that it was created by AI and Chat GPT, what was interesting too is that the original input was human. It was like a transcript from some sort of back and forth with whoever the subject matter expert involved in prompting this content was. And so now that we've figured that out, we were able to like complete the project the way that they wanted it completed, but kind of in a different way than maybe they would have expected. And
Right.
I think that you can do things like creating personal GPTs that are trained on your body of work, and I think that they can be really great idea generators, and they can also potentially help you maybe translate content from one medium, say a long form blog post, to another medium, say a LinkedIn post, a Twitter post that respect the rules of formatting and character count limitations, and just how audiences respond on those different platforms. I think that's a really great use case. The other great use case that we use at the Blogsmith is we use AI tools for research. So we use tools like Phrase and ClearScope to help us do SERP research. And it's one component of our SEO strategy, but it saves a lot of time and it helps with essential questions like how long should content be to rank in relevant search, and what are competitors doing, and how does that play into our strategy and things like that. I'm trying to think if there's one other thing that I wanted to say. Oh, we have put on our website an AI policy too, to be very transparent about like, if AI is a part of our workflow, here's where it comes in, and here's where like we have a zero tolerance policy. So I think that that's something that probably most organizations should do is to figure out what that is, work with their team, make sure you're all on the same page, and then be transparent about it with the people external to your company.
Yeah, it seems like there's going to be laws and certification coming for that kind of stuff real soon.
Oh, for
So,
sure.
how are you repurposing content right now, and what's working there and what does not work?
Sure. I think there's a lot of different potential ways that we've tried. For example, on our website, we used to use this tool that's now defunct for translating the words into, I think it was using AI to then create like an audio version of it. It was called play.ht, but yeah, now defunct. So I haven't found like a good replacement for it yet. I'm sure there is one. Other things that we've tried also, usually it starts with that blog post. And so it's things like I've used AI video tools. Lumen 5 is one that I've liked in the past, where it kind of like suggests like stock photos and captions from your content and things like that. And then you go in and, make your human adjustments, but it creates kind of like a little teaser video that you could use. I think that, long form content is a great basis for your social content. Like you should be trying to create those things kind of at the same time. We use another tool called Missing Letter that's really cool, where it also is AI driven and it goes into your long form content and it suggests like different phrases that you could use in social and different social images that use like branded quotes and things like that. So I think for me, repurposing has been a very much like leaning on these different tools and definitely AI too to help with that. But in each of those cases, like I do think that the human touch is still important. I kind of left the audio, the blog to audio. I kind of like go on autopilot because I don't know how many people actually used it or not. It was just like a thing for people who like podcasts, for example. I was giving them another way to consume the information. Um, but for things like social, I have noticed like the missing letter posts that we create from our long form blog content tend to perform really well, even compared to something freshly created. But again, in all these cases, the input started from a human place, and then we just used AI to sort of like help that process of repurposing work.
Right. Okay. So with all this content you're putting out in the universe, what are you doing about measuring the ROI, your content performance?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely using tools like now Google Analytics 4, still figuring that one out, but I think we all are. And then for us, for the SEO things that we do specifically, it's using rank tracking, different reporting features within Google Analytics. And we also use like SEMrush for like the client projects and things like that. But I think at the end of the day, it really depends on the client and what they're hoping to get out of it. And so they might have their own measurement tools or metrics that they're using.
Okay. So as we sort of wrap up here, we covered a lot of topics, and if you could kind of take all that together and put it into one biggest piece of marketing advice for marketers today, is there a golden nugget that we can leave them with?
I think it's like, be curious, try new things, do your experiments, but don't throw away what worked in the past completely if you haven't validated that those experiments can consistently give you results that actually get business results.
Fantastic advice. Thank you, Maddy, for joining us. Everybody, that's Maddy Osman. Thanks again for joining us on the Digital Accomplice video podcast.
Thanks for having me.